Ralf Schumacher recently praised Fernando Alonso's exceptional talent, but raised doubts about his future in Formula One, especially considering Aston Martin's evolution. While the German believes Alonso remains incredible in terms of performance, he fears that the team may reach a competitive level too late for the Spaniard to take advantage of it. After the first two Grand Prix of the 2025 season, Alonso has faced several retirements, leaving him without points, while his teammate Lance Stroll has accumulated 10 points, placing Aston Martin in 7th position in the Constructors' Championship. Schumacher emphasized that Alonso's history doesn't fully reflect his capability, as he has won few titles for the talent he possesses. He believes that Alonso's character and his lack of being a great team player have played a role in his limited championships, but highlights that, in terms of performance, Alonso continues to impress. In the early races of 2025, Alonso suffered a retirement in Melbourne due to a mistake and was on par with Stroll in Shanghai, raising doubts about whether the Canadian has surpassed him. Schumacher suggests that it could be that Alonso has lost some of his on-track aggression, which might be affecting his performance. In 2023, when Alonso joined Aston Martin, the team surprised with a strong start, but their performance has since declined. Although qualifying sessions have shown glimpses of competitiveness, the lack of consistency during races remains a problem. Schumacher believes that if the car improves, Alonso can still fight at the front, but he has doubts about Alonso's future beyond 2026, when his contract with Aston Martin ends. He thinks there could be a possibility for Alonso to stay in Formula One in a different role, but not as a driver. Despite doubts surrounding the car and Aston Martin's results, Schumacher points out that the arrival of key figures such as Adrian Newey, Andy Cowell, and Tom Martin could provide a boost to the team. However, the big question remains how long it will take for these efforts to result in a substantial improvement in the car, and whether Alonso will still be on the grid when that happens. Ralf Schumacher, however, remains skeptical about the Spaniard's future in Formula One after 2026, although he doesn't completely rule out Alonso staying in the category in a new role. Schumacher believes that Alonso's failure to secure more titles is not due to a lack of talent, but to factors beyond his control, such as relationships within teams and strategic decisions made throughout his career. He recalled Alonso's struggles at teams like McLaren, Ferrari, and Renault, where decisions made by him or his team prevented him from winning more championships. The most notable case was his departure from McLaren in 2007, after an intense rivalry with Lewis Hamilton, and the frustrating finales with Ferrari in 2010 and 2012, where the car wasn't up to the task. Despite these setbacks, Schumacher doesn't rule out Alonso returning to fight for wins if Aston Martin develops a competitive car. However, Ralf insists this depends on the team's ability to improve their car and find a solid path to success. The arrival of experts at Aston Martin may offer hope, but time is critical to know if these efforts will pay off. Alonso has demonstrated impressive resilience, and although he hasn't won a race since 2013, he remains motivated by his desire to prove that he still has what it takes to compete at the highest level. Formula One is a highly competitive sport with major team changes, but Alonso continues to look for his opportunity, knowing he can still fight for wins, even if not at every Grand Prix. Ralf also acknowledges that Alonso remains in Formula One due to his competitive nature and his need to be in an environment where he can showcase his talent. Despite not having a competitive car, he continues to show that he is capable of managing the situation and staying motivated. Furthermore, Schumacher believes that age is not a factor preventing Alonso from continuing to perform at the highest level, and that the Spaniard remains a driver capable of making a difference on the track. Lastly, Schumacher notes that Alonso is still seeking a challenge that offers the same excitement as Formula One. Despite his ventures into other competitions like WEC and the Indy 500, the adrenaline of racing against the best in high-speed single-seaters is irreplaceable. Alonso, despite the struggles and long waits without victories, remains one of the most admired and respected drivers in Formula One.